Romance is a genre that I have a really hard time getting into, but You and I Are Polar Opposites by Kocha Agasawa has recently become one of my very favorite mangas, and a show that I watch diligently every day that an episode airs. But why? What does this story do that most other romances don't? So one of the most important things that this story does is it explores why the characters like each other, rather than just going, well, there's a boy and a girl, so obviously they fall in love. Instead, right from the start, we see exactly why Suzuki likes Tani. How he is straightforward, treats everyone the same, and doesn't change himself are all traits that she really admires. Giving reasoning that goes beyond they exist or they're hot makes the romance much more real and interesting. Another important thing is how they make an effort to communicate clearly. Whenever there's a misunderstanding, they make sure to talk and resolve it well before it has time to grow into a big overgrown mess. Tani in particular has to pay attention to how his words are received, as he is generally very blunt. But in the library, he noticed that Suzuki took his words differently than he meant them, so he made sure to clarify that he wasn't telling her to leave, only making sure that she wasn't forcing herself to be there when she wasn't enjoying herself. And later, when he didn't understand what Suzuki meant when she called things adorable, they discussed what the term meant so that they could both understand. And related to the good communication, nothing is overly stretched out. If there's a problem, such as a misunderstanding, they work together to resolve it, and unlike most romances, Suzuki confesses her feelings in Chapter 1. Things move at a reasonable pace, rather than dragging them on for drama. They also just spend lots of time simply enjoying one another's company. On one of their earlier dates, Suzuki spends most of the time worrying whether or not Tani is having a good time, so later when she asks, they come to the conclusion that it's not so much the activity that's important. Suzuki and Tani mostly just enjoy hanging out with each other, and activities that they wouldn't normally choose are fun because they're doing it with the person that they love. Similarly, most of Nishi and Yamada's dates are study dates. I've read through Volume 7 of the manga, and there have been 2 kisses, if I'm remembering correctly. But both of these have been implied rather than directly shown. This shows an emphasis on the character's relationship overall rather than just on the kiss itself. I've heard it said that if your characters have to kiss to show that they're in love, they're not really in love, and I completely agree with that, so I really appreciated how this story was done. So, in conclusion, I love the romance of You and I Are Polar Opposites because it's healthy and it actually makes sense, with good communication and lots of moments that are both sweet and awkwardly relatable. It feels like a true love story rather than just throwing some characters together and saying, now smooch! It's my favorite romance and one of my favorite stories. So, happy Valentine's Day, and see you later. Thanks for watching.